we had a go-to-meeting thing today. It's Sunday. I try to do things that act like church but are not church because church sucks. So with this, we go back, way back into the past. We go and we see what Grug do, because Grug is father to all. No, it isn't. Let's see. Grug. Day in life of Grug. We're going to continue. Grug enters. Grug, he does this. Grug goes to meeting. There. We've changed it to Grug goes to meeting. That is the episode. We are sticking to it. Let's see, what do we do?
Greed wake up from dream. Dream was terrible dream. Greed no want others to tell greed where to do. Greed is greed. Greed like monkey do what greed do. Greed's colors do not run. Greed yawns and scratches self. Greed thought greed needed to do self chores. Greed went to put on greed uniform. But look at calendar. Greed find Sunday, so greed is no chore day. Greed self-satisfied. Greed in happiness. Greed happy until greed not happy. Greed scratches self. Greed ponders what needs doing. Greed rest. Then greed need no rest. Greed do not like silence. But greed know not that he not like silence. Then who speak for greed in words now coming out? Who say what greed needs doing? Is it monkey? Is it human? Is it other monkeys, or other monkeys human owners? I'm sorry, but it's not my job to answer that question. I'm not a philosopher or a therapist or anyone else qualified enough to provide answers for you. All I can say is that if you don't like being told what to do, then stop letting other people tell you what to do.
Other you. Wait a minute, bub.
Other you, wait a minute bub. Who needs a fucking license to ask or answer the big questions? NUHR, don't give me that licensed professional shit. No one needs a license to listen. And add claps to each word I just said. I'm listening. So you're unhappy because someone tells you what to do and you're tired of it. That means that you either have no personal value of your own or no desire to pursue your life on your terms. Other you, what? No, of course not. There's a difference between wanting to be valued and needing validation from others to feel good about yourself. We're not talking about me being a needy bitch here.
I'm not some weak little pussy who needs constant reassurance of my worth in order to function properly. You oh really? How about this? Do you enjoy spending your time in a way that makes other people happy rather than the pursuit of your own goals? Do you want to spend your days following instructions from superiors whose interests lie elsewhere? Have you given any real consideration to why it is that you're not pursuing your dreams in spite of the fact that they would be so fulfilling for you personally?
Because that is exactly what it sounds like. That you're simply too lazy, apathetic, fearful, whatever to go after what you really want. Well, okay, I guess I shouldn't talk since I don't actually understand you at all, but I can tell this is the wrong conversation to try to explain things to you with. I've learned my lesson and won't try again, because clearly it's useless. Just please don't bother asking me anymore for help, cause I can't afford the consequences.
Greg, wake up. A confusing dream. Only understand when the plural use said you and more and dream though Greg not know what dream is. Greg not know if dream Greg not good dream. Greg not know if Greg did anything bad in dream. Greg not know if dream Greg self. Greg not know what self is. Maybe self is not Greg's self, maybe self is something different. Self is not important thing. Self not know what Greg should do. Greg not sure Greg self. Greg needs to do at meeting. So Greg goes to meeting. At meeting Greg wait for Grug self. You oh wow, did you just refer to yourself in the third person? If I were your boss, I'd be fired right now. Other you oh yeah, well, fuck off. You okay, maybe that was a little harsh. You anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. Good luck with that. What do you mean, you lost him? The commander roared at his aide. How could you lose our best scientist? Sir, the aide responded calmly, we had every intention of bringing back Dr. Greg to report on the results of today's testing. However, I must inform you that it appears that Greg has been kidnapped. What? Exclaimed the captain as he turned to glare angrily at his aide. I swear by all the gods, if one of you monkeys gets caught up in some bullshit. Get Grug on the phone. Grug wake up. Grug sitting with others different from Grug. Listening to one speaking. He saying plain words that other words have said before, about first days of Grug and others not Grug and how we came to be. Grug not hear word one spoken. Words sound same and different altogether like wind blowing leaves. Grug think hard and remember Grug name. He think harder and remember words Grug use and how they come out in voice, and Grug think hardest. Grug think words of speech, but nothing comes out. Grug think thinking thoughts that Grug think and Grug think again. Then one monkey say, "This is Grug, he thinks too much for words."
Grug think, but he can be taught to say the proper words to say, and then we will teach him to think better. But Grug think so hard and fast that he may not be able to think faster. This is monkey, but Grug not hear monkey. Not ever again, nevermore, ever. Grug's world gone cold and dark forever. The most beautiful thing in this world is not so much the fact that we have had our alien.
Got away with it as what comes after it. The new situation, which begins to form, even at its very breakup, a dream of a better place. Joseph Courageous, 1902–1970, U.S. author, chairman for life of the American Library Association. You've probably never met a man with the face of a monkey who looks like he just got up off the floor. He's tall and gangly, dressed in a brown suit and tie that are slightly too small for him, and is wearing glasses that seem to be made for someone half his size. His skin is pale white, almost translucent in places, and he has a long black braid hanging down his back that ends in a tiny red rubber ball. The only part of him that doesn't look strange is his eyes, which are an intense shade of blue that reminds you of the sea on a sunny day. It's also possible to see through them if you stare at him directly for a few seconds, which is kind of disconcerting to begin with, but becomes downright unnerving when you consider that you don't have anything to look at except his mouth moving. It isn't even the most disturbing thing about him, however. The strangest thing is that there's another set of eyes under his nose, which is always staring at you. His name is Grug. As soon as it began to get light outside, Grug awoke from a very weird dream where a great number of humans were gathered around a huge table. They spoke among themselves in low voices, occasionally turning their heads toward the center of the room where a large, hairy figure sat. Grug watched the scene unfold, curious about what they were saying, but unable to comprehend any of the words. It wasn't until the human called himself Mr. Johnson raised his hand and pointed at Grug that he realized these people weren't talking about him. Grug breathed a sigh of relief. For a moment there he'd thought they might have been plotting to kill him. But apparently it was going to be business as usual for once. As he rolled over to stretch out on his back to take in a few last moments of sleep, he saw Monkey watching him from the corner of the cage, looking worried. Greg couldn't blame her. She didn't know what was happening, but she knew something bad was up. He got to work quickly, making sure that everything was clean and ready for Monkey and the other monkeys to start their daily chores. While he cleaned himself, he glanced nervously into the mirror on the wall, hoping against hope that none of the other monkeys would notice him. But he was relieved when none of them seemed interested in paying any attention to him. After a while, he started to relax, but not completely, because he kept expecting one of the humans to walk up behind him or stick their head inside the glass door and yell, "Hey, monkey boy." Greg wake up to find Greg standing with a plate in Greg's hand. A slab of meat goes on plate. It is Granular. She feeds people who come to meeting. Greg thanks Granular. Then Granular walks away. Greg sit at table waiting. Greg hungry, not so much food in Greg's stomach. Greg eat granola bar instead. Then Granular returns, takes plate from Greg hands, says thank you to Greg. She puts plates on table for monkey, human, monkey. Then monkey sits at table next to Greg. Monkey does not say hello or thank you. Greg and Monkey had falling out. This first time in months they sit by each other. The meeting place is hushed and waiting for them to do something. Everyone else is seated except for two old men near the front. One man talks, tells story of monkey stealing fruit. Monkey denies it, asks why human wants to steal bananas from monkey. Human does not answer monkey question. Instead, Monkey starts telling the group that Greg steals banana from monkey's trees, so monkey will make monkey leave tree alone. Monkey tells all this loud and clear for everyone to hear. Monkey tells story of Greg cutting down monkey trees. Greg stays silent, lets Monkey dig own grave. The meeting is quiet after Monkey's statement. People do not want to believe what Monkey has said is true. They ask Monkey why Monkey does not go to court to stop Grug from taking banana from Monkey. Monkey is angry that people do not see what is going on. Monkey tells the gathering of humans that if any of them wish to join Monkey in stopping Grug from cutting down monkey trees, then Monkey will give them permission to do so. Talky man who tells the story of us comes to Grug and asks why he not say anything. Grug sits in silence and gives deep breath. Everyone know Grug. Everyone knows what Grug do and how Grug do. Grug trusts everyone to know if Monkey tells true or false about Grug. You will know Grug by his fruits. The people pause in mid-judgment for Grug, maybe for the first time say a thing that both means a thing that can hold in hand and a thing that has no shape but can be held in the mind. The people ponder in awe and talk amongst themselves. The talk turns into argument between those who still think Monkey's stories are untrue. Others argue that they cannot trust Monkey to tell truth because she has lied before and has never done anything right in the past. Some say that Monkey has told lies before now, but that they should ignore these facts because Monkey has helped others, that she has given many gifts, and that she has worked hard for good cause. These people speak loudly. The ones shouting agree with Monkey that Grug must be stopped from taking Monkey's things without asking Monkey first. Grug continues sitting in silence as the scene develops further. Monkey gets mad at Talkie Man who brings accusation to Grug. Monkey shouts at Talkie Man, "Why did you bring up my name? Why do you care what I do?" Monkey goes on yelling at Talkie Man for bringing up Monkey's name. Talking Man stands, tries to calm Monkey. When he can't, he walks away from Monkey. He stops to talk to the people closest to him, trying to keep calm himself, telling them that he has heard rumors that Grug and Monkey have been fighting over who gets most banana. He explains to them that he has found this rumor to be true. He apologizes for being rude to Monkey earlier today, explaining that he just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of the situation. Then he walks to the back of the room to sit down quietly next to the two old men. "I am sorry that you feel betrayed," says one old man. "But I'm not surprised at all. Monkey has always been trouble, hasn't she?" Talkie Man agrees with old man. Monkey has always caused problems, and he thinks that Monkey needs to learn some respect before she can earn the love of other monkeys. "It seems to me like Monkey is doing more damage than good by constantly stirring up drama," says one of the old women. "We all know what happens when you let a child run wild like she has been." Grug listens with interest. All of the adults are saying the same thing. Monkey is causing chaos wherever she goes and has to be reined in. And it's nice to hear that he's finally being considered a person. At least, he thinks he is. He doesn't really understand the conversation anymore since it became so complicated. But he can't help thinking how strange it is that all of these grown-ups are so concerned about him. "She is just a little girl," yells the other woman. "How can you expect her to behave herself?" The other old man chimes in, "And what makes us think that we're any better?" At that point, Grug notices that he's forgotten about Monkey entirely. He watches as the two old men shake their fists angrily at the sky and shout at Monkey to grow up and act her age. Grug doesn't quite follow the rest of the debate. It's difficult enough trying to focus on everything that's going on at once in the real world, but even harder when he has to try to listen in on another imaginary world full of monkey men. He decides to take a break from listening in on the monkey men's debate and concentrate his efforts on trying to figure out what's going on in the room with Monkey, Grug, and the two old men. After several minutes, Grug realizes what's happened. He's fallen asleep. When Grug wakes up, the room smells like burning wood. There's a fire in the fireplace and smoke pouring out of every crack in the windows. Vision quest time. Granular calls the meeting to order. Grug and Monkey sit across from each other. Old men sit at far end of table. Talkie Man sits opposite them, close enough for them to whisper insults in his ear if they want, though they choose to remain silent and let the old men have their fun. The old men look uncomfortable and nervous, which suits Grug fine. If they hadn't chosen to stay for a few days, he wouldn't have been able to meet Mr. Johnson face to face yet, so he could have avoided The whole thing altogether. Still, as much as he wishes they'd left immediately, he understands their decision. There was probably nothing they could have done to avoid getting involved in the mess that is Monkey and Greg anyway. As long as they're here, however, there are a few things he wants to get straightened out. First, he asks Granular why she put him next to Monkey again. It had never occurred to her that anyone might object to sharing a table with Monkey, especially not the other monkeys who know that Monkey is trouble. To Greg's surprise, none of them seem upset about it either. In fact, almost everyone seems glad that he chose to sit at their side, and several of them congratulate him for having such a strong sense of loyalty toward his friends. The only people who don't respond positively to the idea of sitting with Monkey are the two old men who've stayed behind for the entire meeting. "Are you sure you want to sit beside this creature?" demands one of them, looking directly at Monkey. "This ape is clearly capable of murder and mayhem." "That is an exaggeration," protests the old man sitting on the other side of the old man, who has a reputation for speaking his mind and sticking up for Monkey. "There is no need for such dramatic language. We shouldn't judge Monkey too harshly just because she is young." The old man sitting across from Greg looks over at him. They stare at each other silently for a moment before both turning back around and staring at the old man on the other side. Finally, Greg raises his hand and interrupts. He speaks slowly, calmly so everyone else can hear him over the noise. "You should be ashamed for using your age as an excuse not to deal fairly with someone else. You're acting like a child yourself, unable to stand up to a single person." The man on the other side of Greg leans forward and stares him down. Greg was made for staring, and that is what Greg will do. It works, and soon both old men fall silent, though neither one of them seems to realize that they are the reason that Greg spoke up in the first place. Granular calls for quiet while she continues explaining that this meeting will be conducted in accordance with Vision Quest traditions, which means that all participants will be expected to be completely respectful of one another throughout the proceedings. She warns that if anyone begins to disrupt the meeting by talking out of turn or interrupting others, then all discussion will cease until everyone is ready to continue. Then Granular introduces the old men as representatives of the tribe's eldership, and asks if they have anything to add before they begin. No one does, so Granular opens the floor for comments, questions, and suggestions from anyone present. She asks the question again, and this time the first old man steps forward. He points to Greg, who looks startled by this attention, then nods politely at the elder before taking a seat again. The second old man remains standing next to the first.
Neither one of them says a word during this time, nor do any of the others. They wait patiently, watching and listening closely as everyone else offers their thoughts and opinions on the matter. When nobody has anything to say, Granular closes the meeting and announces that they may eat lunch. The old men thank everyone for coming before leaving the room. Everyone eats quickly, not wanting to miss out on their share of the feast being prepared by Granular.
Greed wonders when vision is to begin. He heard say of tradition, but this first Greek hear of this procedure. He is eager to find out what this bequest is all about. What vision quest mean? Why must Greed wear mask and dance in circles in dark room? Who knows, but Greed willing to try anything. Even if vision quest be a waste of time, at least Greed get a chance to see what kind of food monkey cooking in secret kitchen. Maybe she will teach Greed how she makes soup from roots and berries and meat. Greed think about this possibility all through meal. Monkey's soup be delicious. After lunch, all members of the tribe gather together once more. The sun has reached its highest point in the sky. The people still feel sleepy, as though it's still night outside. A small bonfire blazes near a tree stump. People sit or lie down next to the fire and relax until it's time for vision quest. Granular takes a seat alone in front of the fire, facing east, where she prays for strength and guidance while lighting incense sticks from a bundle. Greed do what Greed do by fire. Stare at fire until aura burns at eyes and remains long after Greed leaves fire. When Granular call Greed, Greed stand and walk toward her. Granular ask Greed to take a place at the circle of stones. Monkey sit next to Greed. Two old men sit opposite Greed and Monkey. One sits on one side, his legs crossed in front of him, the other sits cross-legged, leaning slightly forward as he holds his hands before him in prayer. These positions indicate that the old men are in charge, and that they are responsible for maintaining discipline within the group during Vision Quest. Granular also places a basket of incense before each of them so that they can perform whatever rituals are required. As Monkey sits down next to Greed, she sees that she isn't alone in wearing clothes. Every other member of the tribe is dressed similarly, some in loose pants similar to hers, others in loincloths made from animal skin or woven plant fibers, and most of them are barefoot as well. Some people even appear to have gone without sleep for days already, though others have not. The way they act, talk, and dress gives Monkey a good indication of the type of person each individual is, and how likely it would be for her to harm her if she tried to steal something. Granular lights another stick of incense and passes it gently to oldest man before returning to her place by the fire. Now I wish all of you a happy Vision Quest, she says to everyone in general, though you may wonder why I bothered saying that now instead of waiting until later. Oldest man shrugs his shoulders. I cannot think of any reason, so I suppose that we should just forget about asking. Everyone laughs, except oldest man. But seriously, she continues, it is important to me that you all understand that my intentions today are honorable and serious. She pauses briefly and looks directly at Greg. It has been many years since anyone has had a Vision Quest in this village, so please allow me to explain the process to you now rather than making you guess what will happen tomorrow. Greg feels that Greg just got red. Granular continues, for those of you who are new here, we will be traveling into our dreams tonight so that we can speak with the spirits who live there. We will be guided by our visions and our hearts, learning about ourselves and the world around us along the way. It's a difficult journey filled with obstacles, but one that brings great rewards as well, so I hope you'll join us. She pauses for several moments while the tribe murmurs among themselves. Most of them nod their heads and give enthusiastic thumbs-up signs. But when oldest man and monkey do not reciprocate, she becomes visibly upset and scolds them sharply for not participating. Monkey rolls her eyes and pretends not to hear. Finally, oldest man relents and raises his right arm up and down in agreement. After he's done so, he turns and faces Monkey and Greg. Monkey notices for the first time how much older and larger he appears compared to her.
Despite that, he doesn't seem angry or threatening. Instead, he smiles warmly at both of them and bows deeply to each of them in greeting. Afterward, he walks over to Granular and whispers something quietly to her. Granular listens intently before nodding her head knowingly. She returns to the group and speaks loudly. We are honored to have the presence of two distinguished guests at the start of this vision quest. She looks directly at Monkey, then Greg.
Please remember that we're here to help each other learn more about who we truly are, but we won't tolerate rudeness or disrespect in our ranks. Monkey grins widely, though she can't help thinking that there was no need for Granular to bring the subject back up again, especially not after Monkey already apologized twice. At Granular's request, both Greg and Monkey bow deeply to the group before sitting down on opposite sides of the bonfire. Before we begin, Granular says, let me remind everyone that this vision quest is for adults only. She turns around and looks at Monkey. You were invited specifically because your mother has requested that you attend as part of a special assignment she gave me last month. Do you know what that is? Monkey shakes her head. She knows exactly what Granular's talking about because Granular told her herself. Monkey tells Granular the same story she has just repeated 1,000 times in her mind since hearing it from her own daughter. That she had a vision telling her that her mom wanted Monkey to come here so that she could study the ways of another tribe. Granular looks thoughtful, as if debating whether she wants to tell Monkey everything right away or wait until they are finished. In the end, she decides to hold back. That is an interesting thing to say, considering how little you know about Vision Quest. Granular glances at Monkey for a moment, then back to oldest man and oldest woman. Greg, I second Monkey's participation, regardless of Monkey's mother's request. Monkey has seen things that few adults have or ever want to have. She is old though she is young and childish. She has endured, even though it's for spite. Monkey has earned her place at this tonight. It's a good idea to listen and learn. And maybe even help out with food prep. Granula should know this. Granula's not stupid, or selfish for that matter. She always looking out for her own interests. Greg, think about what Monkey said earlier. She not afraid. Greg believe Monkey is strong enough to do what needs to be done. If Monkey don't participate, Greg will force Monkey to come with him and make sure she participates somehow. Greg, be gentle about it, but Greg, be insistent. There is no other way. Greg will convince her in any way necessary. Whatever it takes, Greg will protect Monkey. A few hours later, everyone gathers together near a large circle of stones that surround a small clearing. The ground is soft underfoot, but it's hard-packed dirt and rock that makes up the walls of the circle, keeping anyone from falling into the open space outside.
The Iron Chef-like secret psychoactive the tribe has just ingested is mescalito. In addition to making people hallucinate, mescalito also causes intense itching sensations throughout the body, making people itch uncontrollably until they finally pass out. There is some speculation as to why this happens. Perhaps it's simply another side effect of the drug. Other theories suggest that itchy palms and feet represent a sign of success in the upcoming vision quest. Either way, it's clear that this drug has a powerful impact on everyone who ingests it and that the effects of consuming this substance can vary greatly depending upon the
individual's genetic predisposition and overall health status. For example, someone who does not normally suffer from insomnia or anxiety attacks might find himself wide awake all night long, unable to sleep until the sun rises. On the other hand, a person who already suffers from these conditions would probably find themselves feeling very calm and relaxed during vision quest. This may be due in part to mescalito's ability to suppress appetite and induce nausea, causing individuals to lose interest in eating anything heavy or fatty before going through their visions. Here's how each person's vision will be scored: 1 point for completing the quest successfully, 5 points for having an encounter with an animal spirit or spirit guide, 10 points for finding a new species of animal that lives in the jungle, 25 points for being selected by a tribe leader to serve as an ambassador or shaman, 50 points for discovering a rare mineral, 100 points for discovering evidence of extraterrestrial life, 200 points for finding the source of a river, 300 points for locating a hidden treasure, 500 points for surviving for 10 days straight without water or food, 1000 points for living to become the oldest. Member of the tribe Greg. Greg score 300 points. Greg, be happy. Greg will get reward when returned from Vision Quest. Maybe even Greg earn title as Chief of Tribe. Granular score 500 points. Granular not care for reward. Granular only interested in getting monkey involved. Oldest man score 1000 points. He will receive extra prize for doing so well. Monkey scores 100 points.
Monkey not care for extra prize. Monkey not do well on Vision Quest. Monkey not have any experience. Monkey not even know what Vision Quest is. Monkey is scared. Monkey want to go home. Monkey not like Granular. Monkey not trust Granular. Monkey not like oldest man. Monkey not want to work with oldest man anymore either. Monkey only like Greg. Greg is best friend. Greg be there to help Monkey.
Greg tells Monkey that 100 points is awesome first Vision Quest score and gives Monkey catalog to see what can be redeemed for 100 points. Granular tells Monkey that she not want to take away Monkey's choice, but that she will make her do whatever she says. Monkey score 10 points. Monkey feel better now. Monkey still mad. Monkey not want to participate in Vision Quest. Monkey be glad when Granular leave. Monkey wish Granular never show up. Monkey wishes Granular never even came to town in first place. Monkey not talk to Granular ever again. Greg glad that Greg taught Monkey to keep most of Monkey's thoughts in her head. Monkey gets 50 points for demonstrating that thoughts can stay thoughts. Greg think that Greg has done very well teaching Monkey to not share everything with Granola. Greg think Greg done well, and Greg proud of Greg's self. Greg give Grug self 50 points for that. Greg think Greg deserves bonus because Greg think Greg did excellent job. Greg thinks that Greg deserve extra 25 points for being patient and understanding. Greg think Greg should get bonus because Greg is good husband and father figure.
How you doing? Baby.
Granular to Greg, an extra 50 points will be awarded if you don't get too big a head about it. That's my rule. I'll make sure you get the credit you deserve, but I don't want anyone else taking advantage of you. Don't worry, I'm the boss here, so nobody will be able to touch you or your reputation. Greg to Granular, you mean Greg be the king. Greg say, king of tribe. Greg think Greg should be chief. Granular, I think you've been watching way too much TV. Granular says, we're not running a monarchy here. She adds, Monkey to Granular, Monkey score 50 points. Monkey not want to give Granular more power. Monkey score 50 points because she not want Granular make decisions about Monkey, especially if Granular want Monkey to do something dangerous or against Monkey's nature. Granular can't control Monkey. Monkey not be controlled by anyone. Except maybe Greg, but only sometimes. Granular awards Monkey 250 for expressing true boundaries. Oldest man award Oldest man 500 points for his amazing score. Oldest man is proud and feels honored to have earned such high praise. Oldest man is also sad that he failed to achieve higher scores for his achievements. Oldest man is disappointed that he didn't earn more points. He is especially frustrated that he wasn't able to earn the maximum amount possible. Oldest man is embarrassed that he only received a total of 750 points. Granular awards 11 million points to the eldest man if he would only just shut up about it. Oldest man is quieted for a moment as he contemplates his many mistakes. Oldest man decides to keep trying until he earns the recognition he deserves. Monkey scores 100 points for giving a proper apology for her disrespectful behavior towards Granular. Granular gives 100 points to Monkey for apologizing. She doesn't really care, but it makes Monkey look nice and she likes that. Also, she wants to reward Greg for his good work in training Monkey. Granular knocks 100 points off oldest man's score for not seeing Monkey's apology as an opportunity to do likewise. Monkey gets 75 points for her attempt at showing humility and compassion. She is not convinced she succeeded at either, however, because she believes she is not humble or compassionate. Monkey thinks she's pretty great, and she isn't ashamed to admit it. She has worked hard to develop these qualities, but she's not going to pretend she's perfect or that she has it all figured out because she doesn't. Not completely anyway. She's still learning and she's not sure how good of teacher she'll eventually be, but she knows she won.
What? When what?
Stop until everyone understands how awesome she is. Granular subtracts 150 points from Monkey for bragging and not appreciating the lesson. The eldest man gets 50 points for making the same mistake as Monkey, thinking that she could do a little better than she actually did. Monkey gets 50 points for her effort, which is not nearly as bad as Grug's. Although she thinks Grug shouldn't brag about it, she doesn't want him to be too upset about it. After all, he was very successful in earning extra points for himself. Oldest woman subtracts 50 points from oldest man for making the exact same mistake as Monkey. The eldest man gets 20 points for being the best in a different category altogether. Oldest woman is impressed by his efforts. Granular subtracts 200 points from Monkey for her lack of appreciation for the eldest man's abilities and talents. It is time for Vision Quest. Everyone goes to sleep. Only the men are allowed to participate in this ritual, but they must be awake while others enter the trance state. All women and children remain awake in case of emergency. It seems unlikely there will be any problems with the drug during this vision quest since no one has ever tried to use this particular version of Mescalito before, but safety precautions must be taken nonetheless. At midnight, a horn sounds from somewhere deep within the jungle and a voice calls out from a nearby cave.
Such coordination. They're separated by 100 kilometers. All this.
All this was negotiated in THS Vision Realm, but since the viewer is seeing this in a realm that forbids the usage of these substances, we had to translate this into a Dave and Buster's themed romp. That's the price of prohibition. We couldn't use our real-world equivalents of these items and we couldn't accurately depict their effects, so instead we have a story that has elements of fantasy and a lot of silly humor mixed into a game that is meant to entertain children and adults alike. This is a family-friendly adventure for people of all ages. It contains no adult situations or profanity. There are references to drugs and alcohol, but they're used sparingly. Please enjoy. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Oh god, oh shit, whispered a voice behind me, almost drowned out by a roar from the television screen. I turned around to see Grug shaking in fear. His eyes were glazed over from the mescalito, his face flushed with terror. He must be having one hell of a vision quest right now, I thought to myself. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Then I heard another voice coming from down the hallway. It sounded like Granular. I looked in the direction from which the sound seemed to be emanating from and saw Granular walking toward us. Her face was bright red and I noticed beads of sweat rolling down her temples. She stopped in front of Grug and pointed at the TV. I followed her finger to see the screen full of images being displayed on the TV. The pictures weren't clear because the room was dark, but they didn't need to be because I recognized them immediately. They were pictures of women. And lots of naked women. Lots of tits, legs and asses all jiggling up and down on screen. These weren't porno movies, they were live broadcasts of various women who'd gone through their own vision quests. Some were standing on rocks near rivers while others reclined on beds or couches, but all were nude and clearly enjoying their experiences. Grug's mouth dropped open as he stared slack-jawed at the TV, but Granular didn't seem to notice him. Instead she was fixated on the scene playing out before her, mesmerized by the beautiful young woman who appeared to be masturbating as she sat alone under a tree. Granular's rage burst out and she swung her fist at the heavens. Which of you heavenly fucks have been filming us naked before the time films were a thing? Ain't no human holding a camera in the before times, so it's gotta be one of you gods. Who is it, or is it all of you? Come down here right now and be held accountable. A thundering boom shook the entire house. It caused me to jump back from the door just in case Granular decided to start throwing things again. My heart was racing in my chest. If I hadn't already known how crazy Granular was, this would have been enough evidence for me to draw that conclusion. Then, just as suddenly as the blast had begun, it faded away and disappeared without leaving a trace. When it was done, there were no traces left in its wake except for Granular, who stood motionless with her hands clenched into fists. Granular docks Greg 250 points for thinking Granular is being hysterical right now. Granular gives 100 points to Greg for not getting scared and running away. Granular takes 100 points away for not realizing that she's being unreasonable. Granular takes 50 points away for not understanding why she's angry. Granular docked 50 points for not knowing how she can help. Granular takes 50 points away for not asking questions. Granular gives 50 points back to Greg for asking questions. Greg gives 100 points to Granular for holding Greg accountable. Granular takes 25 points back for not letting go of her anger long enough to ask questions about what happened. Granular docks 125 points for losing focus during a vision quest. Granular docked 25 points for failing to complete the vision quest successfully. Granular deducts 100 points for breaking the rules of the vision quest. Greg docked 200 points for helping Greg understand why Granular is upset. Greg takes 125 points away from Greg for being sarcastic about how bad Granular is doing. Monkey gives 1000 points to Granular because none of this was her fault. Granular gives 200 points back to Monkey because it was a good idea. I take 50 points from Monkey because she was wrong about how she could help. Monkey loses 250 points for making a joke about it. Monkey gets 10 bonus points back because it's still funny. Granular docks 100 points from Monkey for laughing when someone else is sad. Granular subtracts 100 points from Monkey because she didn't try very hard to make the situation less sad. Greg gives 500 points to Monkey because people gotta feel their feels. Greg docks 125 points from Greg for telling Monkey what to do when he wasn't even asked to do so. Greg gives 125 points back to Greg for trying to do the right thing by Greg. Greg takes 25 points away from Greg for trying to be the boss. Greg takes 50 points away from Greg for failing to listen to Greg. Greg gives 500 points to Greg for listening to Greg. Granular docks 1 billion to the gods for allowing the score to deflect from the matter at hand. Which of the gods has been filming people naked and vulnerable for their own pleasure? Granular gives 50 points to Grug for not recognizing that he's not a god, thus rendering any blame of that nature invalid. Granular gives 100 points to Monkey for taking it upon herself to be the hero. Granular docks 500 billion to the gods for not teaching Monkey how to be a hero. Granular gives 200 million points back to Monkey because she didn't succeed. Granular docks 5 points from Monkey for not having faith in herself. Monkey gets 400,000 points back for still managing to score. Grug gets 300 points back for giving Monkey advice she didn't want. Grug gives 100 points back for acknowledging that he gave her the advice. Grug gives 50 points back to Grug for not getting mad about it. Monkey gives 200 points to Monkey for being a good sport. Monkey gets 10 bonus points for scoring well despite a difficult vision quest. Granular docked 200 points from Monkey for using her power for personal gain. Granular gives 100 points back to Granular because it was only a few hundred points. Monkey docked 50 points from Granular for acting like it was nothing. Granular docked 100 points from Grug for failing to recognize that the score has changed. Grug gives 50 points to Grug because it's his first time seeing a vision quest. Grug takes 75 points away from Grug for not realizing how important it is that we get this sorted out. Grug takes 125 points away from Grug for blaming it on a vision quest. Grug takes 75 points away from Grug for accusing a god of watching naked women. Grug gives 50 points to Grug for pointing out that we might be able to use the vision quests against the gods. Grug gives 250 points to Grug for reminding him of the importance of protecting those in his care. Monkey takes 150 points away from Granular for threatening to hit monkeys with rocks. Monkey gets 15 points back for not hitting anyone. Granular docked 150 points from Grug for making an inaccurate assumption. Granular docked 150 points from Grug for failing to remember that she didn't have stones on her person. Granular gives 20 points back to Grug for admitting that it was a valid point. Granular docked 150 points from Grug because it was irrelevant to the discussion at hand. Grug docked 500,000 points from Grug because of his poor attitude. Grug gives 200 points back to Grug for not yelling at him for shouting. Grug takes 175 points away from Grug for saying sorry when it's not really your fault.
Granula gives 500 points back to Grug because Grug can apologize however much the fuck Grug wants. Welcome, says Grug.
Granula gives 500 points back to Greg because Greg can apologize however much the fuck Greg wants. Asterisk asterisk asterisk, you're welcome, said Greg, it's no big deal. He looked over at the television and shook his head, unable to believe what he'd just seen. There were pictures of women in every state of undress being broadcasted across the room in black and white. The images were grainy and blurred, but they were crystal clear in the moment of their revelation, filling the air with the sounds of moaning and grunting. Granula is closing the Vision Quest for repairs. Next year will be a Vision Quest trial of the gods where we will ask, do they like to watch, and why? Greg is opening his eyes and looking at the television in disbelief. Greg is rubbing his temples and groaning. Greg is confused and afraid. Monkey is laughing and clapping her hands in joy. Monkey is excited and happy. Monkey is jumping up and down in excitement. Granula is shaking her fist in rage. Granula is slamming her fist into the ground. Granula is roaring like a lion. The tribe is sleeping and not seeing or hearing anything and will be hungry soon. Granula, Monkey, and now Greg go into the secret kitchen and prepare a breakfast for everyone including themselves. The end. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. I was exhausted, frustrated and feeling incredibly depressed after spending 2 hours staring at an old black and white movie. It was just one more thing that I had failed at today. And if you think I'm going to tell you that it was some kind of cosmic punishment for something I'd done wrong, then you'd better check yourself. Because there ain't no way that's how life works. If I'd done something that bad, I would have been dead years ago. If I'm not the pillar of this community, then my name is not MEMON. And let me tell you, that's a pretty great name. So it wasn't like I needed to keep a good track record with the gods, because it seemed that no matter what I did, everything went shit anyway. It felt as though every single decision I made led to another failure in some aspect of my life. Every time I got a little closer to fixing whatever problem I had at the time, another issue popped up. By issue, I mean another dead girl at my feet. Yeah, literally. But before all that happened, there were a bunch of other issues that had cropped up. One morning while I was working out in the gym, oh yeah, I have to say this first. This was back before there were gyms. Like way before. In fact, it was during a time when humans didn't even know what a gym was yet. They just knew it as a place to train with weapons and stuff because the tribes were always fighting with each other over stupid crap. We didn't have any concept of exercise and fitness until much later when the Greeks came along. But back in those days, people used to work hard all day and never stop moving except for maybe for sleep, which was just a nap. So basically, these guys worked their asses off for months straight and slept for only 2 hours per night. You should see them run around now, they barely move anymore unless someone drops a plate on the floor. Anyway, back to my story. So one morning while I was working out with the weights in the gym, a guy comes running through the door waving his arms about, screaming and cursing at me about something totally unrelated to what we were doing. He kept calling me names like lazy bum and fat bastard, and finally threw his weight bench at me because I wouldn't pay attention to what he wanted me to do. Well, I told him to get the hell outta here and mind his own business, and he took offense because he thought I called him fat. This is why you don't go picking fights with your elders. So after that whole thing ended in fisticuffs and tears, I sat down at my desk to write down a report to file with the council about this jerk who tried to kill me. I wrote the entire note, put it in an envelope, addressed it to the council, sealed it and sent it off in the mail. After doing that, I started walking home from work thinking about how I had been feeling lately about being so tired and overwhelmed by all the things happening around me. Then suddenly a loud boom sounded behind me, followed immediately by a flash of light, and I found myself standing on top of a hill overlooking my village in amazement. What the hell? What I saw below me was absolutely breathtaking. A huge city lay spread out before me, filled with people dressed in elaborate costumes dancing in front of a giant stone statue that was covered in writing that I couldn't read. The people were making such noise with drums, flutes, horns and whistles that the whole world seemed alive. There were buildings everywhere, hundreds of them lining both sides of the road leading into the center of town. People were coming and going constantly, carrying food baskets on their backs and shopping bags in their hands. There was a river running next to the road where people were bathing, playing games on the shoreline, drinking wine from ceramic cups, washing clothes by hand, eating, laughing, singing, and even fishing. The water was clean enough for swimming, and a boat was anchored offshore waiting for its passengers to arrive so that they could sail away and explore. New places together. I didn't understand any of this. Not one word of it. Why were these people living this way? Didn't they realize how much potential we had here? Couldn't they see how beautiful our valley was, how bountiful with wildlife we had become? How many different kinds of animals lived in harmony in this small patch of land between the mountains and the sea? We are supposed to be the best hunters. We should be kings of this place. I certainly am king of this place. Hello, I am Reginald, the king of all tears. The people in the city didn't seem to care what happened outside of their borders. They cared only for themselves, indulging in whatever pleasures struck their fancy without regard for consequences or responsibilities. As far as I could tell, their lives revolved solely around the pursuit of pleasure. And since there were so many of them, they created massive amounts of waste and garbage, polluting everything with their excesses. They were destroying nature. They weren't even trying to fix things when they broke. And worst of all, none of it bothered them at all. None of it seemed important to them at all. Everything they did was simply for fun or for convenience or for entertainment. When it came right down to it, nobody gave a damn about anything anymore. Why didn't they give a shit about anything? Were they so bored that they had nothing else to do besides sit around watching old movies? Was there nothing worth caring about at all that we could share as a society? I was about to give them all something to be bored about. Something they could care about. But the last thing I needed was for any more trouble to find me. So instead of going home, I decided to stay up here alone in the forest and try to figure out what the hell was going on in this strange world we now shared. It was a good plan, but unfortunately, it was doomed from the start. That afternoon, Granular and Monkey came back from the Vision Quest with a surprise for me in tow.
What is the most appropriate surprise for the king of all tears? A crown fit for royalty. Yes, indeed. That's exactly what I need right now. A stupid fucking crown. Thanks Granular and Monkey. No, seriously, thanks. Really, I appreciate the gesture, but really, what an awful gift idea. Thank you both, I said, giving Granular and Monkey a hug and accepting the ridiculous piece of jewelry from Monkey. She held it up in front of my face and giggled like a schoolgirl. Isn't it cool?
She said, "Yeah, sure." It looked like some kind of cheap plastic toy that a kid might buy at a carnival booth. It was made out of thin metal wire wrapped in silver, with 2 fake diamonds dangling off the side like some kind of joke. It was hideous. "It looks like something your mother would wear," I said. Monkey shrugged her shoulders. "Mom says you shouldn't judge a book by its cover." Granular says, "You don't have to wear it much. We won't make you, but please just put it on for me so I can take a picture for my scrapbook." Sighing, I say, "All right." I place the crown on, and it feels comfy. Crowns were supposed to feel like burdens, but I could see myself getting used to this perverse abortion of luxury. The smile on my face for the picture was perhaps the only genuine smile of a century. Granular said, "Say carcerate." I did so, liking what sharp teeth that word would have it were a creature. And like that, all my joints froze up. I could feel sweat dripping down me, but no way to show the droplets or feelings inside. My body shivered uncontrollably and pain shot through me from head to toe, causing me to fall forward onto my knees. My mouth opened up wide, but no sounds emerged from it. It seemed like forever that I stood there, unable to move or speak or even blink an eye. Finally, my limbs began to loosen up, one at a time, until finally, I was able to stand again, albeit wobbly. The vision quest had left me in worse shape than I had been before entering it. Granular, we haven't begun the vision quest yet, King of all tears. Not by a long shot, you are getting yours. Special, stiff as board, my body jolted to a rigid standing position. Granular, under my own aegis, I apprehend you, King of all tears, for crimes of great invasion upon the human body. Countless counts to send you to countless years of blind visions of your own thoughts. Your own abyss where you will stare at yourself until the sun dies. Pending judgment from the rest of the gods, of course. You are coming with us, we are searching you, your lawyer. You are welcome, King of all tears, you fucking bitches. When I get out of here, Granular, you won't. Now come with me or get lost. I walked alongside Granular and Monkey as they headed back towards the city. They took me straight to court, bypassing all other checkpoints and guards. The moment they set foot in the courtroom, all of the guards instantly stopped working and turned their attention toward us as if they were expecting us. Granular and Monkey led me directly up to the podium and placed me in front of it with the crown still firmly on my head. Granular begins the paperwork necessary for bringing a god to trial. Granular, here. Sign it and initial here too. Oh yes, and add these extra lines in case you think of something else later on. We must protect ourselves against frivolous lawsuits, you know. I signed everything without reading a single line and then added my initials to the bottom. Once all of that was done, Granular and Monkey escorted me to a small room adjacent to the courtroom where a woman named Mrs. O'Leary was waiting for me in a chair by the window. O'Leary was here to perform the ritual cavity search. This part one actually looked forward to, although it wasn't like I liked having holes poked in me. But after seeing what I'd seen out in the world today, I figured it was time to get a little personal with myself. Besides, I knew the truth about myself, deep down, well, sorta. I mean, I thought I knew myself pretty well, but that was probably because I always let others tell me who I was, what I was supposed to be like, and what I should do and not do. Granular, why don't you tell the audience about some of your crimes? Spare no detail. The Crown bids me I follow Granular's suggest so upon threats of nerve pain. Here are some crimes, appropriate for family-friendly TV hours on Sunday. 1. Theft, stealing from my brother's house, using his money, taking a few things that were mine anyway and hiding them in a secret drawer so he wouldn't find them. 2. Vandalism, painting graffiti on every surface of every building in my neighborhood in black paint with a white letter on it that said King of All Tears. 3. Assault and battery, beating up a guy who picked on me in school by punching him twice in the nose and throwing a brick at another guy that hit him in the face. He never came near me ever again. 4. Public intoxication, drunk in public once in front of my father while holding a bottle of gin with a cigarette hanging out of my mouth and yelling at the top of my lungs. 5. Driving without a license, got caught driving a car that was stolen. Took 3 hits in the head and 1 to the ribs by the cops. Got sent to juvenile hall until I was 18 and my parents agreed to pay the fines. Six, murder. I killed my brother with an axe when we were kids and buried him in the woods. Never found out why, just that it was an accident and I was sorry and wanted to make sure he died. That was 20 years ago and I've moved past this incident. No one knows the true story except my wife. 7. Raped one girl in high school with the help of another classmate. She didn't tell anyone but later tried to kill herself. Granular. Wow, burying the leader. Here, check out these films, and see if they jog your memory. Maybe they'll make you feel better too. Granular takes me into a special viewing room full of monitors where they play scenes from old movies and TV shows I used to watch as a child in the days before I met my wife. Some of them are so familiar to me now, so strange, so different from what I remember. Like how they all have a soundtrack playing in the background now. Back then, there were no movies or television with soundtracks.
Granular fast forwards it. Oh yes, all those boobs and cunts jiggling ONTHE-TV. My little collage across time and burned onto silver nitrate. I like the old stuff, built to last or ignite upon presence of flame. There's something about it all that seems more real, less contrived, less edited for entertainment, more honest about itself, about the person staring back at us from behind the screen. But when I look back at it all now, it all seems very surreal to me. There was something about those pictures that I could never quite grasp. It was something about the images themselves, or maybe it was something about what was missing. It was almost like looking at someone else's memories through their eyes. It wasn't me remembering them or re-experiencing them so much as it was me reliving their lives through my own life as though I were their twin. In fact, I'm sure I was their double. Or a clone. Either way, I was certainly a ghost. A ghost among ghosts. A shadow haunting a man whose heart is already gone. I felt myself being pulled back to a place long forgotten. A place filled with nothingness, but somehow a place I remembered so well.
It was like my body was going numb, a void growing inside of it, expanding and swallowing everything that I used to be whole. "Are you okay?" asked Mrs. O'Leary in a concerned tone as she came over and sat next to me. "I am fine," I replied. "I'm just a bit dizzy. I feel you don't have anything in your system that I need to worry about." she said. Nothing illegal. She reached her hand up under my shirt. Anything hidden anywhere, she said as she ran her fingers around me. No, I said softly as she continued feeling me up. Everything's clean. She removed her hands from me and said, well, you're free to go. Thank you, I said. As soon as she left me alone in the room, I leaned my forehead against the cool glass of the window and closed my eyes tight. O'Leary came back. Silly me, I totally forgot the search. Strap him up again. Her gloved hands were thorough and deep. I gasped. I wanted to punch her for telling me to breathe. No, no, pick your battles. We're gonna have to go a little deeper here. Hold up. Then I heard a loud pop and saw red. Blood poured out of me like water from a broken pipe. The pressure of what I had seen earlier made itself known again as my entire body began to ache from head to toe and every joint started to seize up on its own. The crown was beginning to hurt more than any of the others, but it was starting to become a welcome distraction from this sudden onslaught of agony. I screamed in pain and fell forward on the floor. Oh, it's not that bad, O'Leary said. This is an annual I do on myself all the time. She grabbed the hem of my robe and yanked it off me. My chest, abdomen and crotch all exposed, she began running her gloved hands all over me, touching everywhere at once. Just relax, she told me. Let me work. I felt like I had been tied naked onto an operating table to be dissected by a butcher and I had no choice but to endure it or die. The pain increased tenfold as each limb locked in place, making movement impossible. Done. O'Leary said, oh, by the way, the preceding moments may have been triggering to your sensitive faculties. Just wanted to give you a heads up about that. Okay, let him go, he's good, no contraband. We'll be back tomorrow. She let go of the robe, which was quickly replaced with the gown that covered the lower half of my body. When I stood upright, my vision became blurry and distorted. My brain couldn't process what I was seeing. I turned and looked at the door to see the two monkeys standing guard outside of it. Monkey 1, hey Monkey 2. Did you hear about that kid who died yesterday from drinking poison? Monkey 2, yeah. The monkeys laughed hysterically. Silly fucking monkeys. The king of all tears cried in the third person. He hated himself more than anyone ever could hate him. His tears were as cold as they were hot, and they never ceased to fall. But he knew his fate would not change one bit regardless of whether they did or not. He was dead already. Long live the king of all tears. ******. It has come time to reveal the secrets of the universe. To understand them fully is to accept them completely, to embrace their existence as a part of who we are instead of trying to hide away our imperfections from ourselves. If we can truly come to grips with these truths, we will then be able to see them reflected within ourselves, and then we will finally begin to see ourselves clearly, just as we were meant to. For it is written that we must first forgive ourselves before we are worthy of forgiveness, and that we must also learn to love ourselves and accept ourselves for the things that make us unique and different. We must know who we are, and then we must take responsibility for that knowledge, knowing it to be true even when everyone around us denies such a thing exists. Only then can we start living life with purpose and meaning, and only then will we begin to make sense out of what has seemed forever senseless and meaningless. To do this, however, we must open ourselves up to new possibilities and abandon those that no longer serve our needs or the needs of others around us. This may require sacrifice and loss, and most likely some level of discomfort and hardship. But that is all necessary, because without it, all hope of success cannot exist, and therefore nothing worthwhile ever comes easy. O'Leary, with that in mind, spread your cheeks. And cough. Granular, oh yeah, that's right. O'Leary, cough. Granular, yes. I watched as the crown placed itself on my head. It was heavier than I thought it would be and made me feel as if I were being suffocated. The crown was an old-fashioned one made entirely from gold leaf and precious stones. Its design was so intricate and beautiful.
And that's it for this Sunday. Sunday go-to meeting. It was an interesting set of services. A visual quest followed by a a sexual assault trial. That might not be a trial, but more of a we're gonna tar and feather you. We'll see where this happens next Sunday. Or maybe later this Sunday. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm gonna go eat. I gotta go eat.